the unknown, down the rabbit hole, where it stops no one knows. We're going head into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hi everyone, happy Thursday. We're back in Delphi. Lots and lots of stuff happening. Oh, you guys. All right, let's be kind. Let's be kind. Welcome back to Criminality. Today we are going to be talking about the Delphi case and the new filings. Did I freeze? Because that was kind of a weird freeze. Like I want to freeze like, you know, like something cool. But no, it didn't work that way. Anyway, so some new filings from Nick, some new filings from the defense. But let me say hi to you guys first. What's up, Fiend? Hi, Justin. Hey, Angela. Hi, Snappy Dragon. Hi, Women Doing Impossible Things. What's up, Bonnie? Lindsay, the Royal We. Hi, AH. Hi, Rockaways. Hi, Starlight. Ramblin'. Unindicted. Kilt. Christy. Veronica. Yankee Ghost. Let's go. Lindsay says, let's go. Let's get this party started. Oh, Punk Mama. I know. I think I said hi to Christy already. So this is when things start to go crazy. Hey, Shaz. Hi, Jen. What's up, ATS? Hi, Mother of Dragons. Jen, other Jen, and other Jen. Hi, Caitlin. You're having the worst day ever, Fiend? Oh, no. Let's fix that. Odie Doty. Hey, Mellows. Hi, Chelsea. Nancy. Hey, Lilith. Hi, Andrew. Inspector Gadget. I missed the last live and haven't had a chance to watch it. So yesterday, Richard Allen and his attorneys filed for a speedy trial, essentially, that requesting that the court change the actual trial date to being within 70 days of essentially today, because it was filed yesterday, which would bring us to about or before May 16th. So that was what the live was yesterday, the Delphi live. We also had a Madeline Soto live. All right, let me go all the way back down to the bottom and see who I've missed. Hey, Louise. Hey, Criminal Med. Hey, Keiki. Sophie. Princess. Megan Elsa. Hi, JCM. Unsolved. Cleveland Rocks. Sniper. Tattoo. Hey, Michelle. Okay, Ginger Snaps. Okay, so never a dull moment. Nope, never a dull moment. So hello to anybody that I may have missed. Welcome in. And as much as I'd like to start with the last filing, we're going to start with the first one. We'll go in order and we'll go through what we know about what. So, like I said, Nick has actually filed to obtain Richard Allen's medical records. Oh, you know what? I don't want to do that yet. Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Hi, Ariel. Sweet dude. Hey, Peppermint Tea. Okay, we'll do it this way. This is his third request for said medical records. So we'll go through this one. His medical records should be accessible on both sides. No. Well, so there's criteria that has to be met for it to be available to the other side. There is HIPAA. Obviously, there's HIPAA. So we have certain things. So you have medical, and then you have psychological, and then you have medical staff. There's a lot that's going to have to be met for Nick to get it. This is why Judge Gohl has denied it, because it could come back to bite her in the ass if she does give it. Now, this just ironically takes me back to this whole issue of there's supposedly a confession. There's supposedly a confession to somebody on his medical staff. Remember that. Remember, that's the rumor that got everybody pissed off at me on Reddit for whatever reason, because I just wanted a source. And so it's an intriguing thing that they want these medical records. And then, the other side is like, well, why don't they just give them to him? And it's like, well, that's not normal, because once things are done in court, then that sets what's called precedent and can continue to happen in other court cases, because what happens is other courts will then start citing that as precedent. Well, look, Judge Gohl over here wanted, allowed all of his medical records to come in. And so that's a bigger deal when things are setting. This isn't just a one-off kind of thing. You have to pay attention to the case law and the case precedent from before also. Now, well, I mean, it's been out, that rumor has been going around for a little while. But it's still a rumor because nobody will show a source. I know, Shmita, how dare I want a source? Just want a source, or I want people to say that it's not real. Like it's a theory, it's a thought, it's what I heard, it's a rumor. Just not like I just don't state it as a fact if it's not a fact. I know, and that's another thing that's also been going around. I don't know who that is. I don't know that channel. I didn't really know of the channel even before. So there was definitely not a personal attack on him. But then somebody else was trying to tell me that channel was Fig, and I'm like, I don't think so. Fig just does what Fig does on his own channel. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to get into the drama of it, but I mean, we're gonna get into a little bit of the drama of it just because of the filings from today. But so there's criteria that has to be met. So let's say, and this is what the whole funky thing was too about this, quote unquote confession to medical staff, because some of the rumor is that Richard Allen confessed to, like, during a mental health evaluation. There is with some links regarding the confessions. I hope you got it. Let me go check. You know what? I'm so far behind on my emails, but I will check. Okay, this might be it. Hold on. Let me go through this. So if I go to the doctor, right, and I'm talking to the doctor about all of my ailments and whatever else, then that falls under my HIPAA regulation. So, like, the doctor can't just go around telling everybody all my medical stuff. That's just not how it works. But now if I go to my medical doctor and I say to my medical doctor, hey, last week I was at the park and I killed a couple people, that's very different. That's not covered under HIPAA. But now, if take the turn and make that into your mental health provider, like a psychologist or psychiatrist, now those types of conversations are very different. They're more protected about things that have already happened. A doctor who, if I'm confessing to my doctor that I did something, then they would be considered like a mandated reporter. Like, if a teacher sees child abuse, or if I confess something to a teacher, there's mandated reporters. If I confess to my therapist that I am plotting a murder, then that also, it's a different side of that coin. So that's why I said, we'll go through this, but depending on what rumor you listen to about the confession to the medical provider, because some are saying medical staff. Okay, and that's when I was like, was it like a fucking janitor in the medical ward? Like, who? If it's the doctor or a nurse, then that's different. But then there's other ones that are saying was during a mental health evaluation. that all those things are going to come into play. There's different rules for different people. So, welcome, Rick. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I see. That's the thing. But other ones are, it's either mental health. Which one is it? But if we had a source of the information, it would be fairly easy to figure it out. One of the worst things about live streams is when the host spends 30 minutes just saying everybody's name. Well, good thing that we're only 10 minutes in and I'm not saying anybody's name anymore. Win for me. All right. So, hi, Artemis. Yeah, recordings or it didn't happen. So I know that people have talked about that there is the recorded confession to his wife and mom, and then there is another confession that's not recorded. That's not in any court filing. And so then I was told after everybody got really mad at me on that subreddit. I was told that it's in the transcripts for the June 15th hearing. That's what I was told. So I was like, okay, that's interesting because one, the defense doesn't have transcripts for the June 15th hearing. We've gone over that. They've now requested it for the second time and they don't have them. So I'm not sure how anybody else has them. And then, so I went back and I listened to all the people who were at the courthouse that day because I was not following all the court stuff. I mean, I knew there was a hearing and whatnot, but we weren't like as deep as we are right now. So I went back and I can't find anybody mentioning to in that courtroom that there was, and if you guys find it, please feel free to send it to me. Because obviously, I mean, I'm one person. I can't, look everywhere, but if you find it, send it to me. That he confessed to somebody in the medical, in his medical team. I could not find that from that hearing. We want to hear the exhibit list first. All right, we can do it. I was just trying to go in order. RA's admission, not confession, the other shun word. If the confessions were recorded, then the only recordings that were lost. Oh, were those recordings lost? Hi, Mal. Hi, Hybrid. Hold on, I got 18 more minutes I have to sit here and greet people. Sorry, I'm just kidding. So when is Nick McLeod being charged with contempt? Okay, so apparently you guys really do want to go over the other stuff. In September, Fig claimed that, and I asked his source, and he laughed in my face and said the documents. I can't find it. Like, here's the thing too. I don't want to get too deep into this, but seriously, here's the thing. If I'm gonna say I have a source that told me this, why wouldn't I just say the court document motion for leave to subpoena third-party records states this? At least, even if I can't show it to you, at least I can kind of tell you it's in the filings from around whatever. So that's like essentially what I was asking for, and that's when I got it's on the transcripts from June 15th. And I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. So, and then that, if you guys know, like that day I went over motorcycles, military, all the mayhem. That was the live I did that day. And then I got blocked from that subreddit, so I couldn't reply anymore. And ironically, the person who's actually mentioned in these filings was actually really pissed off at me for talking about the military records. I thought that was quite interesting. I was like, I was just trying to show some military records. Like I was giving you guys the here it is. I was showing it to you. But apparently this person thinks that I am irresponsible for showing you guys my sources, the document. I don't know. I was confused. I wasn't allowed to respond. They blocked me from that subreddit. It is what it is. It was probably better because it was going to consume way too much time. And okay, so we're going to go through this one. This one is from yesterday. So I'm going to go through because I want to go through it in order. And I know people are like, let's get to the other ones. But yeah, people can suck it. It is absolute gatekeeping of information. So I'm mad that I had information they didn't have. That makes no sense. I don't really know. And so I'm just going to I'm just putting conjecture out there, and I shouldn't do that either. Hi, Alley Cat. Good to see you. An admission is considered hearsay and it was made outside of his Miranda rights and therefore cannot be used in court. Well, the one to the medical staff is, I think, what you're referring to, right, Patricia? Because the other one is recorded, and he's already been given his Miranda rights. Fiend, yeah, I know I wasn't going to say that, but I appreciate you saying that. It was from Delphi trial. It was under that whole thing with the video where all I was stating was that putting out that Richard Allen confessed to somebody on his medical team without a source was irresponsible. And this is how we end up having to discuss rumors, which was the live part of the live that we were talking about that day, was all the rumors that have happened over Delphi, and can we work together collectively to try to source some of those rumors? And so I just said it was irresponsible, and this is why the rest of us are sitting around trying to figure out if the rumors are true or not instead of just citing it. If I'm not pissing someone off, I'm not doing it right. So I made that comment, and apparently that really made people upset, because asking for sources is not a good idea. Because they were like, well, the other side throws out stuff without sources, so we'll allow it. And I was like, that's a great argument. Good job. Anyway, here we go. So, motion for leave of court to subpoena third-party records. He has been denied twice. Hold on, let me see. It's the trial one, yeah. You know, he says hi to people. And that just makes me really just want to go back and say hi to like everybody again. Just saying. Hi, Kit Kat. Hi, Andrew. I have a reliable source. Shut the fuck up. Who's Ryan Murphy? We'll go over that too. I don't know who Ryan Murphy is. Hi, Veronica. I just commented. Oh shit. Okay. So he has been denied twice. I'm gonna turn my camera off. Did you see my chat, Teresa? The email? No, I will go look. I will go back. I think I found it. Let me just go. Shit. Fine. Hold on. Let me look at this. Oh, this chat. Dun 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 dun. You can hear me scroll. You hear me scrolling. They waiting. All right, let me close that so that the notifications stop coming up. Totally biased. Given access to confidential exported defense file. Okay, that's not the one I want. What's the email called? What's the title of the email? Just tell me the title of the email so I can find it. I have so many emails from not following up for like 3 days. I'm riding dirty. American Horror Story. Oh. Fluffy Bunny, tell me the title of the email. Hi, Sleuth. Oh man, I can't believe you got name dropped. You were like, boom, blowing it up. We're not there yet, though. Hold on. I just want to know the name of the email so then I can have it up and ready to go. He misunderstood. I don't think he was only mentioned for his channel. No, I mean maybe I missed it. Fluffy Bunny, where the heck did you go? What's the name of the email? Hey, Gambies. Every time I say hi, I think I'm thinking of Okay. ATS or Mal. It's titled Linked to Rumors. Okay. Thank you. I was going to say, got it. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, this one's good. Yes, I do have this one. Thank you. I have it starred. Got you. Okay. I was going to just say a Fluffy Bunny commented because I was going to start reading. But they commented, and I know exactly what email it is now. Here we go. Let's turn this off. Stupid time zones. Okay, motion for leave of court to subpoena the third-party records. Like I was saying, this is the third time that this has been asked. It has been declined twice. So it comes down the state of Indiana by Nicholas McClelland, prosecuting attorney for the 74th Judicial Circuit, and moves this court for an order for Westville Correctional Facility and Wabash Valley Correctional Facility to produce to the Carroll County Prosecutor's Office any and all mental health records for Richard Allen associated with his stay as an inmate in the Department of Corrections from November 3rd of 2022 until present. While working the Delphi investigation, Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Tony Liggett developed information that Richard Allen was involved in the murders of Victim 1 and Victim 2. The investigation, there's a very big issue with copy paste. And this weird font that they like to continue to put in all the state's filings. That on February 14, 2017, Victim 1, Victim 2 were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. Their bodies were located on the north side of Deer Creek. At the time, the Monon High Bridge Trail was approximately 1 mile gravel trail terminating at the Monon High Bridge. The Monon High Bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle approximately 0.25 miles long, spanning the Deer Creek and Deer Creek Valley on the southeast end of the trail, approximately 0.7 miles northeast on the trail from the northwestern edge of the Monon High Bridge is the Freedom Bridge, which is a pedestrian bridge spanning State Road 25, approximately 350 feet. West of Freedom Bridge was a former railroad overpass over Old State 25, also known as County Road 300 North. The trail terminates just west of the former railroad overpass. The majority of the trail is in a wooded area with a steep embankment on the side of the south side of the trail. The entirety of the trail and the location of the girls' bodies were and are located in Carroll County. Ooh, I like that. Through interviews, reviews of electronic records, and review of video at the Hoosier Harbor Store, investigators believe Victim 1 and Victim 2 were dropped off across from the Mears Farm 149 on February 13th by Kelsey German. The Mears Farm is located on the north side of the County Road 300 North near an entrance to the trails. A video from Victim 2's phone shows that at 2:13 p.m., Victim 1 and Victim 2 encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. The male ordered the girls go down the hill, or guys down the hill. No witnesses saw them after this time. No outgoing communications were found on Victim 2's phone after this time. Their bodies were discovered on February 14th. The video recovered from Victim 2's phone shows Victim 1 walking southeast on the Monon High Bridge while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her as the male subject approaches Victim 1 and Victim 2. One of the victim mentions gun. The girls then begin to proceed down the hill, and the video ends. A still photograph taken from the video and the guys down the hill audio was subsequently released to the public to assist investigators in identifying the male. Victim 1 and Victim 2's deaths were ruled as homicides. Clothes were found in the Deer Creek belonging to Victim 1 and Victim 2 south of where the bodies were located. There's also a .40 caliber unspent round less than 2 feet away from Victim 2's body, between Victim 1 and Victim 2's bodies. The round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. Interviews were conducted with the 3 juveniles. They advised they were on the Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13th. They advised they were walking the trail toward Freedom Bridge to go home. One described the male as kind of creepy, advised he was wearing light blue jeans and a really light blue jacket, and his hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he did not really show his face. She advised the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. The other one said she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. RV advised he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, black boots. She stated his hands were in his pockets. And I know that you guys know all of this stuff. This is not new. I'm just reviewing it for whatever context he's trying. He put this in here for a reason. So I'm just reviewing it because this is his context, not mine. Like, I'm not just like, hey, let's read this just for shits and giggles. He put it in here. Ah, shoot. Sorry, I'm dropping stuff. BW showed investigators photographs she took on her phone while she was on the trail that day. The photograph included a photo of the Monon High Bridge taken at 12:43 p.m. and another one taken at 1:26 p.m. of the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. BW advised that she took the photo of the bench. They started walking back toward Freedom Bridge. She advised that was when they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken from Victim 2's video. You know what's actually taken out of here? The BW showed investigators in 2020. All right. I'm going to let the mods just delete. You guys better be nice to each other. Otherwise, I'll just have the mods start deleting and timing out like that. I don't want people being mean to each other. But that's gone. The BW showed the investigators these photographs in 2020. And the photographs now include the one from 1243 of the bridge and the one of 126 of the bench. So she took a photo of an actual bench. This one's a little bit more precise when it comes to that. So this is not copy paste. There's actually some things in here that got switched. Advised after she took the photo of the bench, they started walking towards her, and then they encountered the man matching the description of the photograph taken from Victim 2's video. And remember, this is also the part where that she says like he was the man in the photograph, and the original documents state that Liggett believed that she was talking. Remember, Liggett believed she was talking about the photograph from Victim 2's video. That's all gone. Okay, this is just going to be, I'm going to have to do that on a whole different thing. I'm going to have to sit and compare it, because are all the comments, and this is just food for thought because I'm not going to do this right now. Are the comments that Liggett was accused of lying about, are the comments from the Franks memorandum that Liggett was accused of lying about, are they gone from this document? All right, I'm just going to keep reading it. She advised that when they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken from Victim 2's, BW described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She advised the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath his jacket. She advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to approximately his shoulder. She advised RV said hi to the man and that he said nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. She stated he had his hands in his pockets and kept his head down. She advised she did not get a good look at his face, but believed him to be a white male. The girls advised after encountering the male, they continued their walk across Freedom Bridge and the old railroad bridge over Old State 125. Yeah, they definitely have changed a few things. Hi, Sleuth Mom. Say that again. The particular items that Liggett was called out for about lying in the search warrant affidavit and the probable cause affidavit, there were certain things that were brought up in the Franks memo, and now I'm thinking those things are gone. But that's why I said I'm going to have to do that on a different live because we had too much to go over today. Oh, the Muddy Bloody Jacket's still there? Okay. We haven't got there yet. Bree was 5'7" in 2017. My problem with that is that I continue to get Bree and Rayleigh mixed up on... Steve, you get all kinds of respect. Hold on. Most are still there. I think they copy and paste the PCA. Okay. Yeah, Bree comes up to his shoulder, supposedly. Okay, so observed a male matching the video. We already read that. To video, Huge Store shows 149, a white car matching Kelsey German's vehicle. Metzi advised she finished her walk and saw no other adults other than the male on the bridge. Her vehicle is seen in Hoosier Harvest Store video 214, leaving westbound from the trails. Betsy advised when she was leaving, she noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the old CPS building. She said it was not odd for vehicles to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because of the manner it was parked, backed in near the building. Investigators received a tip from Terry Wilson. He observed the purple PT Cruiser or an SUV type vehicle parked there. He stated it appeared that it was backed in to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. Betsy and Terry both drew diagrams of where they saw the vehicle parked, and their diagrams generally matched as to the area the vehicle was parked and the manner in which it was parked. Wesley McWhirter advised he remembered seeing a smaller vehicle, more like a smart car. Investigators spoke with Sarah Carbaugh, who stated she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13, 2022, and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of 300 North, away from the Monon High Bridge. Sarah advised that the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket, blue jeans, and was muddy and bloody. She further stated that it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store that Sarah was traveling at 357. Through the interviews, electronic data, photographs, and video from the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators determined that there were other people on the trail that day after 213. These people were interviewed, and none of those individuals encountered the male subject referenced above, witnessed by the juvenile girls Betsy Blair and Sarah Carbaugh. Further, none of those individuals witnessed victim 1 and victim 2. Investigators reviewing tips encountered in a tip narrative. This is the whole between 1:30, 3:30. That's the copy-paste of Dan Doolin's statement. There seems to be some confusion about whether it's Dan Doolin's statement or not. I don't know how that's still happening. Hi, Frosty. Good to see you. Wait, Fiend is Frosty? No. That's what I'm wondering. That's the only reason I'm going over it, because it is for the context of whatever he put it in here for. And also just to see if anything happens to be different. Investigators believe he was referring to the old CPS building. Investigators discovered Richard Allen owned 2 vehicles in 2017. Investigators observed a vehicle. He owned 2 vehicles. Investigators discovered Richard Allen owned 2 vehicles in 2017, a 2016 black Ford Focus and a 2006 gray Ford 500. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembled Allen's 2016 Ford Focus. He only owned 2 vehicles. Just a FYI, just throw that out there. Investigators note witnesses described the vehicle parked at the former child CPS as a PT Cruiser, small SUV, or smart car. Investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to a 2016 Ford Focus. I don't disagree with that. The problem with that whole thing is the whole Betsy Blair putting in... Oh, they added an additional. Where at? Up here? That's fine. Well, you'll tell me, Aspen, and I'll look at it then. I hate StreamYard because it's the delays in the comments, and now I'm already past whatever the heck you guys were even talking about. Dan Doolin didn't make the connection. The last line of the PCA. Oh, got you. Okay. Richard Allen first stayed on High Bridge to watch fish. Later in a statement, he said he walked out. Okay, this is all the same. I don't understand the context of why this is in here. An identification opinion is reached when the evidence exhibits that this is about the markings on the gun or the bullet, the unspent round. Duh. has been part of the investigation since early. I don't understand why this is in here. He has an opportunity to review and examine evidence gathered in the investigation. Along with the other investigators, believe the evidence gathered shows that Richard Allen is the male subject seen on the video from victim 2's phone who forced the victims down the hill. Further, that the victims were forced down the hill by Richard Allen and led to the location where they were murdered. Through the statements and photographs of the juvenile females and the statement of Betsy Blair and the 3 girls were at the southeast edge of the trail at 2:43 p.m., east of Freedom Bridge at 1:26 p.m. This is all added in, no? They walked the entirety of the trail, observed only one person, an adult male. Betsy Blair's vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvest Store video at 1:46 p.m. and leaving at 2:14 p.m. And she stated she only saw one adult male. The girls and Betsy Blair described the male in similar manners, wearing similar clothing, leading investigators to believe all 4 saw the same male individual. Investigators believe the male observed by is the same one depicted from victim 2's phone due to the descriptions of the male by the 4 females matching the male in the video. Furthermore, victim 2's video was taken at 2:13 p.m. and Betsy Blair saw only one male while she was on the trail from approximately 1:46 p.m. to 2:14. I don't see none of this. All of that is fine. I think the issue comes to is that person that they saw Richard Allen, and that's where for me personally, is the disconnect. All that makes sense that whoever it is, they most likely saw Bridge Guy, but then you have the two different descriptions with the two, how are you going to get these 2 witnesses to come in and say they saw the same person, yet they completely describe somebody completely different. Yeah, they buried it in the disclaimer. Investigators believe Richard Allen was the male seen by all of these. Richard Allen told investigators he was at the trail from 1:30 to 3:30. Video from Hoosier Harvester shows a vehicle that matches the description of Richard Allen's vehicle passing at 1:27 p.m. toward the former CPS building. The clothing he told investigators he was wearing matched the clothing of the male. A vehicle matching the description of his photo is seen at or around 2:10 p.m. All right, hold on. A vehicle matching the description of his 2016 Ford Focus is seen at or around 2:10 p.m. Okay, 2:14. So we got Terry Wilson's, Betsy Blair's, which she does not say was his car. She says it was she actually says it was a Ford Comet. And then 2:28 p.m., which is Wesley McWhirter, at the former CPS building. Through his own admissions, Richard Allen walked the trails and eventually hiked to the Monon High Bridge and walked out onto the Monon High Bridge. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13. No. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. Investigators identified other individuals on the trail and 300 North between 2:30 and 4:11. None of these individuals saw a male subject matching the description of Richard Allen. Furthermore, Richard Allen stated that he only saw the 3 girls on the trail and who investigators believed to be RV, BW, and AS, which they're leaving out a whole other girl, but, it is what it is. Investigators believe Richard Allen was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. because he was in the woods with victim 1 and victim 2. This is, I don't know. I'm not going to read too much in. Like I said, I don't even... An unspent .40 caliber round between the bodies of the victims was forensically determined to have been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model P226. The Sig Sauer was found at Richard Allen's residence, and he admitted to owning it. Investigators were able to determine that he had owned it since 2001. Richard Allen stated he had not been on that property where the unspent round was found, that he did not know the property owner, and that he had no explanation as to why the round cycled through his firearm would be at that location. Furthermore, he stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow the gun. Investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down 300 North. Investigators believe he was seen by Sarah Carball walking back to his vehicle with clothes that were muddy and bloody. Tony, along with other investigators, believe the statements made by the witnesses because the statements corroborate the timeline of death of 2 victims as well as coincide with the admissions made by Richard Allen. Further, the accounts relayed by Betsy Blair and the three girls are similar in nature, and timestamps on photographs taken by BW correspond to the times the juvenile females said they were on the trail and saw male individual. Investigators believe Richard M. Allen committed this kidnapping, which resulted in the killing of 1 and 2. From their prior conclusions, investigators believe Richard Allen was the male depicted in victim 2's video saying guys down the hill. They believe Richard M. Allen was carrying his P226 on that day and cycled around, matching the firearm was located within feet of victim 2's body. They further believe he was carrying the P226 from the audio victim 2's video, which investigators believe they hear the sound of a gun being cycled. And one of the victims mentioning a gun, investigators believe that time victim 1 and victim 2 were removed from the bridge by Richard to where their murders occurred. Charges were filed against Richard M. Allen on October 28th for 2 counts of murder. Once Richard Allen was taken into custody, he was moved to Westville Correctional Facility, which is part of the Indiana Department of Corrections, for safekeeping. He has been in said facility since November of 2022. When Richard M. Allen entered the facility, he was placed in the segregation unit for his protection. In the segregation unit, his cell is equipped with a video recorder which records his activities within the cell. There are also logs indicating when Richard M. Allen leaves the cell and for what purpose. He is also being seen by medical providers and mental health specialists to evaluate his physical condition and monitor his mental health. Richard M. Allen also has the ability to use a tablet in his cell to send text messages, make phone calls, and listen to music. Upon Richard M. Allen's arrival to the facility, he was placed on suicide watch because of certain statements he made about harming himself. Throughout his stay, his mental health improved to the point that he was taken off of quote-unquote suicide watch. He was also participating in recreation time and beginning to exercise. The facility reports that he was doing well and that they had no issues or concerns. His day-to-day demeanor was that he was quiet, read a lot of books, did crossword puzzles, and exercised daily. On April 3rd, Richard M. Allen made a phone call to his wife, Kathy Allen, and in that phone call, Richard M. Allen admits several times that he killed Abby and Libby. Investigators had the phone call transcribed, and the transcription confirms that Richard Allen admits that he committed the murders of Abby and Libby. He admits several times within the phone call that he committed the offenses as charged. Interesting wording. His wife, Kathy Allen, ends the phone call abruptly. Soon after, attorneys for Richard M. Allen filed an emergency motion to modify the safekeeping order. In that motion, the defense states that Richard M. Allen's mental state was declined because Westville Correctional Facility is unfit and that he should be moved. Defense also makes allegations that his mental health has declined to the point where Richard M. Allen has been deprived of his constitutional right to assist in his defense of this case. Further, defense alleges that his mental capacity has declined because of his incarceration at Westville Correctional Facility. Defense also challenged that his treatment is unconstitutional. Soon after, investigators were made aware by the warden of Westville Correctional Facility that Richard M. Allen began to act strangely. I think we know this one. Allen was wetting down paperwork he had gotten from his attorneys and eating it. He was refusing to eat and refusing to sleep. He would go days on end refusing to sleep. He further broke the tablet that he used for text messages and phone calls. He went from making up to 2 phone calls a day as of April 3rd to not making any phone calls at all. To date, Richard M. Allen still has not made a phone call. To date, Richard M. Allen still has not made a phone call since April 3rd. That's interesting. On April 14th, Richard M. Allen was evaluated by 2 psychiatrists and 1 psychologist to discuss his turn in behavior and whether or not there was a need for involuntary medication. The panel would also discuss moving Richard M. Allen to a different facility that had a psychiatric unit. From that meeting, it was determined that Richard M. Allen did not need involuntary medication and that he did not need to be moved to another facility. Since that meeting, Richard M. Allen has begun to eat again and has begun to sleep. His behavior has begun to return. This is just like literally copy and pasted. Investigators believe the information that Westville Correctional Facility and Wabash Valley Correctional facility have gathered since Richard M. Allen was placed in those facilities is important to the investigation and important for trial. Further, any records of his mental exams will be important to determine the state of his mental health when he made the admissions. This information is needed to refute the defense's allegations that his mental health is in question. The evidence is also necessary to refute the allegations of diminished mental capacity and/or other possible defenses. It may also be important as the state introduces additional evidence gathered, including additional admissions made by Richard M. Allen himself. It may also be important as the state introduces additional evidence gathered, including additional admissions. Come on. Based on the above probable cause for the charges, the defendant has been held in the Carroll County Jail, transferred to the White County Jail, and then ultimately transferred to Westville Correctional Facility and is currently housed in Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. He has been held in the Department of Corrections since November 3rd of 2022. During the defendant's time in incarceration, the defense has filed several motions that have called into question Richard Allen's mental health and his physical well-being because of the alleged conditions at Westville Correctional Facility and Wabash Correctional Facility. Those motions include an emergency motion to modify the safekeeping order, where the defense writes that Richard Allen should be moved because of his deteriorating physical condition. They reiterated this point several times in the hearing on the motion to modify the safekeeping order. Then again, in the defense's motion for order on continued disclosure of defendant's mental health records, where the defense writes that they need his mental health and medical records because of his current deteriorating state, both mentally and physically. Then again in their memorandum in support of the accused motion for Frank's hearing filed September 18, 2023, where the defense writes that on April 3rd, Richard Allen's mental health began a steep decline. The defense has expressed concerns that Richard Allen is being treated unfairly or is being placed in conditions that resemble a prisoner of war. The state has filed a motion for leave in the past to obtain these records, and the defense objected to said motions. The defense has now filed a verified ex parte motion for hearing on funding for expert services. Within that motion, the defense asked the court to approve funding for Dr. Polly Westcott, a clinical psychologist, and for a confession expert. The defense states the conclusion to be drawn from this is that there is a reasonable basis upon which to inquire into the impact of the accused's confinement on his mental state. This can only be done by an expert in the field of the impacts of solitary confinement in accused individuals. It is clear from this statement and the other affirmations made in the motion that the defense intends to challenge the multiple confessions the defendant has made while incarcerated. Further, it is clear that the defense intends to make the defendant's mental health an issue in this matter. In order to address this, the state needs to review the defendant's mental health records and have an opportunity to consult its own expert. This is going to be problematic. The state concedes that defense has not filed any kind of insanity defense or any other defense on behalf of Richard Allen, but their repeated allegations have made the defendant's mental health an issue. The defense has now brought Richard Allen's mental health into question again in their most recent filings when they requested funds for an expert. We went over them requesting funds for experts, and I don't recall there being a list of who the experts were. But ironically, Remember Nick was being real pushy about wanting the list of who they were going to be calling as experts and putting that in his motion for discovery to be turned over to him from the defense. For those reasons, the city is requesting the mental health records for both Westville and Wabash since his stay beginning in November 22 to the present, as specified in the attached subpoena for the reproduction of records, or for the production of the records. The request is made for the purpose of preparing for trial in this matter. The state believes that Richard Allen's mental health is going to be argued at trial. Okay, then go get your own expert. Go get your own expert and just see what would happen. You don't need his medical records to get an expert. That would be fairly easy. So if the person that the defense is wanting to hire as an expert is talking about the effects of solitary confinement and what that has to do with confessions or admissions, it should be fairly easy, right? Fairly easy. Just go get your own expert on those things. How does because the criminality, how does Nick know what the defense is going to argue at trial? You funny. I think we all kind of know that there's peeking going on. There's some peeking into info. Unless the defense handed them this, which I don't understand that they would, but I don't know. That's why I said this is gonna be kind of interesting. The state believes that the mental health will confirm or deny the information the defense has alleged in its filings. This is so interesting to me. The state is not asking for an entire mental health history of Richard Allen, but only those records for his stay at the Westville Correctional Facility and Wabash Valley Correctional Facility until present to be able to respond to the allegations made by the defense and to prepare for trial. The state of Indiana is aware from prior filings that the defense objects to this subpoena. The state of Indiana has also sent them a courtesy copy of the subpoena via email. Wherefore, the state of Indiana, by Nick, prosecuting attorney, ... Here's your subpoenas. Now comes the state of Indiana, pursuant to the Rule 2 of the Indiana trial procedure. All right, let me pull that back up. Let's go look at why he thinks he gets it. Hi, Punksy. Hi, everybody that just popped in. Thank you guys for joining. Right now, we are going over the motion yesterday from Nick McLean requesting the medical records of Richard Allen from Wabash and from Westville. These were previously denied by the judge twice. What's changed is now the defense team has requested an expert to come in and talk about, or to be paid for and potentially come in to talk about what could cause somebody in solitary confinement and whatnot to confess. Okay, let me go. Hold on. I thought I already had this up, but I didn't. So Rule 2. This is just pretrial procedure. This is not anything. I'm just reading. Give me a second. Okay, so the Rule 2 of the Indiana trial rules of trial criminal procedure requests that the following documents and records be produced for the Carroll County prosecutor. Within 30 days from the date of this request, You may comply by mailing a copy of the requested documents to the prosecutor's office postmarked prior to the date. As used in this request, the term document encompasses the full scope of that term as it's used in Trial Rule 34, including without limitations all writings, papers, photographs, videos, and other recordings and communications of any kind, whether printed, electronically recorded, filmed or recorded, or produced manually or by other processes. The term document includes all margin comments, handwritten notes, date of receipt stamps, and notations of any kind appearing on any document. The term document includes all files and data stored on computer disks or hard drives. For each document produced, identify the corresponding request. If you claim information sought herein is privileged in whole or in part, object to any form of any request, or believe that any document would be excluded from the production to the state regardless of its relevance, state the reason for said objection or ground of exclusion. I think that probably should go to Judge Gold, but that's different. She doesn't do any of that. She doesn't state anything. Identify with for said objection or ground of exclusion. Identify with particularity each document for which you claim a privilege, including the date of the document, the person who prepared the document, the person to whom the document was directed, the substance of the document, and the reason you believe the document is privileged. So even if you're not going to give him the document, what he essentially wants you to do is tell him what the document is about, and then tell him why you're not going to give it to him. Yeah, just like so that way they still know the document exists. This is ironic. I mean, this is just fucking ironic. You are entitled to reimbursement. You're entitled to security against damages. Documents, any other documents and records. Okay. So this is the next one. This is to Westville and Wabash. Who is this one to? I didn't even read that. Indiana Department. This is to Elise Gallagher. This one is regarding affidavit of custodian and records, also to Elise Gallagher. She might be their records person then. Here, I am the custodian of records attached here too. Here's all the copies. That's basically just a fill in the blanks. This is just kind of ironic that he literally wants them to go through and state all of these things for him on what the documents are, but they can go ahead and cite why they don't believe he should have the document. So it's like, this document was a mental health evaluation taking place on 2/14, and we believe that you shouldn't have it because it falls under this exclusion. The irony of that is that's literally exactly why things that are left off of the case file are supposed to be, there's an exclusionary rule that goes in there of, hey, this is why we're not putting it on the docket. Okay, so now there's things that he's quoting in here that I was like, what the hell, and how does he know this? Because if you go back, he requests, Baldwin and Rosie were requesting funds for the experts. But there's no list of the experts. So that's number one. And then number two, I know that he was fighting to get, a list of all the expert witnesses. And remember, she was like, you guys don't have any reason to not give it over because, you have all the, you should know who the expert witnesses are by now, because they just gave a list of like what kind of experts they were going to do, not who they were going to do. So that was pretty confusing to me on how he would have gotten that. So Kara Winicki, if you guys remember her, she's one of the ones that filed the original actions with the Supreme Court. Let me blow this up so you guys can see it. So she tweeted this, and Travis, you're here, so thank you. You could actually help too. Whatever you give your expert to review, if anything, the other side can discover. That is if it is a testifying expert. If it's a consulting expert, you don't typically have to disclose anything. So Travis, how the heck would they be aware? How would McLeland know and be able to quote the ex parte motion filed by the defense team about money for expert witnesses? We should do a fill in the blank there. Oh, Mother Dragons, thank you so much. Oh, Radar. And Radar, I owe you a thank you, and hopefully you know what that thank you is for. We don't even know that he technically confessed. We don't know what that is. We don't know the transcripts yet. From everything that we have heard, it's very quote unquote generic. Oh, it says no guards threatened him. What it says is, and thank you for the super chat, Shelly. But the footnote says that could have happened. It doesn't say it did happen. It just says that that's what they're saying could have happened. But that doesn't mean it did happen. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. We don't know what the context of these freaking confessions / admissions are, and that's really what we're waiting for. I mean, I think that's going to come into play, and especially if there is something to this expert fight. Hi, Sleepy Goosey. I didn't know you were here. I think Gold let him see the filing after their weekly their rockaways. But in the footnote, it says that that's not what happened. It just could have happened. Okay, Travis says they would not know in Texas. They are done ex parte under seal so that the other side doesn't know who we want money for or why. That is what Kara is discussing in her post. Okay, I'm going to read her post. Hey, you guys, stop digging around. Digging in the dog beds. All right, so Kara posts, and thankfully, and thank you, Travis, for being here and helping me to understand some of these things, because this is some of them I'm just like, I don't even know what to think anymore. So Winicki posts, or Kara Winicki posts, we are blessed in Indiana as criminal defense attorneys because we have very liberal discovery rules. We can depose witnesses, subpoena records, and consult with experts generally of our own choosing. And when we do consult with experts, we do not have to disclose to the prosecutor who we consulted with or what they said. Rather, we need only disclose expert witnesses if they intend to testify on behalf of our clients. As a public defender appointed directly by a court, this can create a quandary. What if I need to consult with an expert, but I don't want the prosecutor to know just yet? How can I alert the court I need funding to hire that expert without the prosecutor finding out? There is an exception to the no ex parte rule in this circumstance. Public defenders seeking funds for a consulting expert can file a motion, ex parte, asking for the funds. Generally, these motions are handled by the courts in one of two ways. Either the motion is filed on paper and delivered directly to the court, and the clerk notes the filing on the docket but does not otherwise scan a copy into the docket, or the motion can be placed on the docket but access locked so that no one can view it, not even the parties. Why the secrecy? What's the big deal if the prosecutor sees the motion? Well, a couple of reasons. One, in many cases, it may reveal the client's defense strategy. But second, consider this hypothetical. The state has an expert who is new and inexperienced, but thinks your client's fingerprint was found at a crime scene. You decide to consult a very seasoned, very experienced fingerprint examiner. Your examiner agrees with the state's expert. In most cases, the state will never know this. But if the state knows who your consulting expert is, the prosecutor can depose your expert to see what the expert found. And now the state can use your own consulting expert against you. The state's case just became stronger. This is why the secrecy is necessary. It's not the client's fault he cannot afford counsel. If he could, he would never have to file a request for funds with the court. Allowing him to file it ex parte places him in the same position he would be in if he could afford private counsel. Last night, in the Delphi double murder case, the prosecutor filed a motion seeking Richard Allen's mental health records. The prosecutor listed one of the reasons for the request as his review of the ex parte motion filed by the defense. The prosecutor even quotes the motion. How did he obtain access to the motion? Does this change anything for the defense? And can they still consult with this expert? This is crazy to me. Sorry, you guys, my cough is just killing me. So how did he get access to this filing? Was it not filed correctly? Did they just give it to him? They just didn't care? I'm so curious about how this happened. I'm so curious about how this happened. So, but this is what I was talking to you guys about with the mental health records. They're not doing evaluations for any type of insanity defense or anything like that. So there's no reason for any of the mental health records to be given over. This brings me back to the conversation we were having beforehand about this alleged confession to a mental health person. Now remember, if it's a confession to a doctor or a nurse, it's very different because they are mandated reporters, but they do not get to disclose any of your medical information. Now, a mental health provider, unless you're planning on committing a murder, they don't have to tell anything about you from before. Anything that you've told them, they do not have to tell. Now, this brings me to another level of something. If Richard Allen confessed to either his doctor or his nurse or the janitor, if it was the therapist, the psychologist, the psychiatrist, if it's any of those people, and that information is given to YouTubers, I don't know if that information would be allowed in court. Why would that person who the confession was made to be in contact as a source for anything on YouTube? I wonder if it's the same nurse, Tornado. Yeah, I do remember that. But I think this is going hand in hand with what the actual conversation was, and it's actually making a lot more sense to me why people were so mad that I made the comment about needing a source. But it's a rumor. Correct. That's what I'm like. It has been out there for a little while, but it's a rumor. And my only issue was that it was just being stated as fact because a source close to the investigation revealed it to YouTubers. Is the source related to anyone? No idea. I don't even know who the source is. I don't even know if there is a source. Because now, once we start getting into some of this other stuff, shit just goes crazy. It's crazier and crazier and crazier. Okay, so this is, I'm very curious to see how this part right here plays out. She's already denied the access to the records. I expect the unexpected, so I don't know what she'll do. But if I had to take a guess, I'm going to say that she's probably still going to, since they're not using it, there is no insanity defense going on the table. I don't know. But now I'm very curious what happens with them knowing about this ex parte filing and how they did. Hi, Deets. Okay, so this is Nikki's filing from yesterday. And I call him Nikki. People got mad at me, but I'm like, that's like, people call him Nikki. I don't know what the issue is. That's his name, Nicholas. Nick. I want to know what the AG was talking about, the person who got them the evidence they needed. What the AG was talking about? Okay, hold on. When is this case not crazy? I don't know how y'all keep up with it. Honestly, you have to do it almost daily. Otherwise, it becomes very overwhelming. So I have to do it in steps. But then there are things The thing about this case is nobody in this case can know everything about this case because there's so much to know about this case. There's people who have followed this case since the day that it happened and still are learning things about what's happened over the last 7 years because there's so many facets and so many different people involved in the rabbit holes, and nobody can know everything about it. So there's a weird thing when it comes to like having like ownership over this information, and it's like, why wouldn't we have all these extremely intelligent people put it all together and just say, hey, this is what we know. That's kind of where I came into this at. Oh, Nikki Mouse. Thanks for fighting quicksand. We can talk and I can give you the short version because things are very different since August. So we can give you the short version on the catch up to now part. So much weird ass gatekeeping. I know. I'm just like, why? Well, if these next couple of motions, they may have some information on why or they may give us some idea on why information is being so gate kept. Is that even the right word? Okay, so here we go. So now the defense is coming in. Well, kind of. The defense for the defense. Okay, hold on. Travis has given us some insight. Right, Keiki? Like, it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's just for us, us lowly people who don't have all the inside info. There's so much rumor, misinformation, and lies that also muck up the actual facts. Jay, that is literally my whole point of what I was talking about on that thread. It's like, if you're gonna say rumor, like do a whole thing like this is rumor, this is rumor, this is rumor, this is rumor, this is rumor. That makes sense to me. I get because there are so many, but I don't know. Yeah, us little outsiders. Oh, see, I have Apophis. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Even what most people think are facts aren't even facts. The Delphi community on YouTube does feel like a gated community. No outsiders allowed. It's true. I'm waiting for Travis because I want Travis to tell us. He's talking about, so this isn't a subpoenas deuces teak. I'm not going to say that correctly, and I apologize. It looks like from that page there. So what has to happen is he does this and like leaves me in suspense, and I'm like, well, what has to happen, Travis? Tell us what has to happen. Hi, Lambert. MRC was bragging that he was in touch with Kar's wife, and he was reading her the jailhouse confession as if helping her understand it. I never heard that. I didn't hear that one. Do you even go here? That's where I'm at with it, is there's a very strong narrative being pushed. I find that very interesting. Why do I have to buy a narrative? Why can't I just look at the facts and perceive them and see what I see? And if I see something different, how come that makes me so bad? And now I get it. I'm getting it a little bit more. Nancy. You said something earlier about HIPAA. Rittenhouse was really bad. And that judge is also the same judge who did Zachariah Anderson's case, and I think that case was a fucking disaster. True, Patricia. If it's not in the documentation, it's speculation. And I'll even take you one more step. that sometimes even when it's in the documentation, it's still speculation, because you have things like, he says he parked by the old Farm Bureau building, but Liggett believes it's this. You know what I mean? I know. So yesterday, Aspen, that was one of the big things. I was like, all right, who's ready? And there was some people who were like, no, we're not ready. Like, you know, like we're not ready to like deal with all this stuff that goes along with the trial. And I'm thinking like, I'm so ready. Like, let's go. Like, I'm so ready to get this like done, put it all out there. Let's see what you got. He's the guy. Let's do it. Let's get it done. And then hopefully some of this will, you know, what it is, dissipate. Is that the right word that I'm looking for? I think the defense filing today is going to get Nick tossed. I don't know, after the fact that he was looking at the conversations between Baldwin and Mitch Westerman, and then now this, I'm so curious on what's going to happen. I think the defense filing. Oh, I already read that one. To you guys, this is case. I have granddaughters. You live in the area. I know, I get that. I know it's totally different for locals, and I absolutely understand it's very different for the families of these victims. But I also hope that once it's done, if he is the guy, they can start to heal, and if he's not the guy, they'll push and open up and be like, let's figure out who the fuck did this to our kids. I think Travis left me. Yes. Let's get this to trial going and put their cards on the table. Either way, then they can move forward. So I get it. I get that it's very different for locals. I get it's very different for those of us who are simply covering a case, you know, on a true crime YouTube channel. I totally get it. Hi, Jess Deb. Yeah. Miss Smith, that's actually a great point. Either Nick wants to get kicked off or he knows he's untouchable. Either way, it's scary. I don't know who the Delphi Dummies is. So was it the murder sheet that got that info? Which info? All right, give me 1 second. The dog's crying at the door. And then I'll come back and we'll start the next one. Okay, so the next one is the verified motion to extend the discovery deadline. Now, I don't know. Did Sleuthy, are you still in here? I guess I can just go look it up. Let me go see if did anything pop off with this today, because technically all of this is due today. So I wondered if she even did anything with this, because it's kind of last minute. But anyway, so comes now counsel for attorneys Baldwin and Rosie. Remember, we're all in these different components to the case, which make the case even more confusing. Did she make any decision on this, Sleuthy? Because the discovery deadline is technically today. Travis responded and I missed it? Is it because I walked away? Damn it. Hold on. I'm going to find... I don't know what it is, but sometimes comments do not show up on StreamYard. Somebody the other day was like, I'm like yelling at you in all caps. I'm like, it's not there. I don't know if YouTube removes it or if StreamYard removes it. Okay, so that's the last one I have from Travis. So what has to happen is, and that's the one where I didn't see anything else. And I'm going through. Okay, here it is. I'm waiting for you. Okay, first I mistyped it. Looks like a subpoena. First, are there any ex parte motions listed on the EFS? The only thing I saw on there was when they were asking for the funds. Sleuthy, that's probably a better question for Sleuthy Goosey. I did miss that comment. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they did My Three Sons. I don't know if it was, I don't know who that information originally went to. I just know it's been talked about and kind of rumored. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through chat a little slower so I can see. Hi, Tammy. I wonder if Nick knows Alan is innocent instead of admitting that he's purposely blowing this case. I mean, he can't seriously be this dense. I wouldn't think so. I don't think that he, I mean, I know that this is a very big case and way outside of what his norm. He deals with a lot of drug cases. You know, I just, especially now that he's got Luttrell, like, there to quote unquote help him. Correct. Yeah, one was the 8th and one was the 7th. Too much going on all at once. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, but where is it coming from that Richard Allen confessed to a, well, depending on which story it is, the medical staff or the mental health staff? Where's that coming from? And he's used to getting pleas, and I think that's exactly what he wanted here, and it didn't get it, and he doesn't understand why. Okay. Can you guys see that one okay? Okay, so now this is from Hennessy about Baldwin and Rosie in the contempt hearing. Comes now, counsel for attorneys Baldwin and Rosie respectfully move to the discovery deadline of March 7th, 2024. So this, remember, this has to do with the March 18th hearing. In support thereof, counsel states on February, this is a typo, hate that, 2022 of 2024, the court issued an order stating in pertinent part, now orders counsel for the defense attorneys to provide to the state of Indiana all the exhibits intended to be introduced at the hearing on March 18th, on or before March 7th. The court did not issue a reciprocal order for the state to provide their exhibits expected to be introduced. However, Mr. McClelland and undersigned have cooperated in reciprocal discovery. Undersigned has provided expected exhibits to Mr. McClelland as they have become available. The undersigned believes Mr. McClelland, at least he's calling him Mr. McClelland this time. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Good to see you. I haven't seen you for so long. Okay, Travis, give me just a minute. We'll go over this real quick, and then I'll send it to you. Okay, so like I say, at least he's calling him Mr. McClelland now. He was just calling him Leland. As they have become available, the undersigned believes Mr. McClelland has provided all expected exhibits available to him prior to March 1st, 2024. On March 1st, 2024, counsel conducted depositions. We talked about this yesterday about how what was going on with the depositions, I think, was going to change a lot of things. And then yesterday we get the boom, ready for speedy trial, and we get now all of a sudden, you know, Nick wants all the mental health records again after he's been denied. Counsel conducted depositions of most of the state's identified witnesses. At that time, it was learned that the ISP report provided to Mr. McClelland, then the undersigned, did not contain the attachments. Mr. McClelland pledged to obtain them and share. Okay, so during the depositions, most of the state's identified witnesses were deposed. At the time, the defense found out that the ISP report provided to Mr. McClelland, then the undersigned, did not contain the attachments. Important. Mr. McClelland pledged to obtain them, these attachments that go with the ISP report, obtain them and share them. Also during the depositions, it was learned that Sergeant Holman had conducted recorded interviews with pertinent people. It is not yet known if those were the omitted attachments to the report. Oh, Kathy, that makes me really sad. I know that's why I'm like, we're going to get the case done, and then hopefully some of that kind of crazy can simmer down. Also, during the deposition, conducted recorded interviews with pertinent people. It is not yet known if those were the omitted attachments. Again, Mr. McClelland assured the undersigned that they would be produced. On March 5th, at 8:24 a.m., Mr. McClelland communicated to undersigned that he had the attachments and would collect the interviews and provide them through discovery that day. Then on March 6th at 9:23 p.m., so this was last night, Mr. McClelland advised that due to time constraints, he would be unable to provide those materials until March 7th. I do watch Defense Diaries, and I will watch his after, but I'm still going to go through it. I'm good with that. I like him. He's my buddy. Upon review of the state's additional discovery, the undersigned may have additional exhibits. It will be impossible to determine that until the new materials are reviewed, which due to counsel's schedule cannot be done before late in the afternoon of March 7, 2024. On February 29, 2024 and March 1st, 2024, the defense was contacted by two separate individuals who claimed to have documents pertinent to the leaks. Despite diligent efforts, the defense has not yet obtained these documents to be able to assess their credibility and reliability. Upon doing so, the defense may have additional exhibits, which of course will be provided to the state as all the others have been. So this will be just like a supplemental discovery once it's there. Time is certainly not of the essence because everything the state complains of happened months ago and was fully vetted. The state typo did not file its allegations of contemptible conduct until after the Indiana Supreme Court reinstated attorneys Baldwin and Rosie. The issue of contempt is not an urgent matter. Mr. McClelland objects to an extension, so he does not want to give the extension to the defense team, even though what he's literally saying is, I can't give you the information until March 7th, which is your deadline. I can't give you the information until March 7th, your deadline to turn over everything. So essentially just turn it over whether it has anything to do with anything or not. And it's not, and essentially what they're saying is we can push this entire contempt thing out. This isn't even important right now. This isn't even important because it's so old. It's so old. Why are we even pushing this? So they're just asking for a deadline to the court of being able to turn over their exhibits to the defense. They're asking till the 14th. This is what I was asking Ms. Luthi if there was anything that she had seen where the judge actually had ruled on this. All right. I'm going to give you guys a hot minute to cool down and not be, just chill. Everybody chill. Everybody in the chat, chill. I need another drink. You guys are driving me to drink more Dr. Pepper. I'll be right back. Okay. You ready? Everybody's chill. Maybe everybody else needs a Dr. Pepper. Okay. Oh shit! Now I have an echo. Ready? Turn that off. Can we talk about wheat? Can we just talk about wheat for a hot minute? All right. Well, things are already getting pretty contentious in this chat. I'm really worried about getting into this next document because it's gonna get worse. You know what? I don't pay my mods enough at all. That's for sure, because they get $0. Wait till the trial starts. Yeah, I'm like, okay, so this is already good. I mean, I'm sure this is already going to be causing some major waves across the social media platforms on what is in here. I do not want you guys fighting with each other in the chat about the people that are mentioned. I don't want you guys fighting about anything in the chat. And we literally just had this conversation. At the end of the day, it's not this case isn't about us. It's not about us. Just remember that. You can, yeah, no, and I'm not saying anybody in particular. I'm just saying, just remember, when you make decisions when it comes to this, it's not about us. This is about justice for the girls. It's about making sure they have the right guy. It's about due process and making sure that Richard Allen's constitutional rights aren't violated. That's what this is about. So just make sure you guys realize this isn't about us. So everybody just take a step down, just chill, breathe, have a Dr. Pepper or a Diet Coke or whatever it is, a beer, something, whatever it is that you want to drink, because this is just going to be it. That's what I'm saying. It's about the victims. Absolutely. It's not about us though. That's why I'm like, nobody should be threatening anybody. Nobody should be threatening anybody. Nobody should be threatening anybody involved in any of this, no matter who it is. Everybody just needs to, that's why I'm like, just remember, there's the bottom line, and no matter whether we agree with who it is, how it happened, or what went down, everybody wants the same thing, which is justice for all of the victims. That's it. If we continue to bring ourselves back to the core of why we're all here, we are actually all on the same page. We just don't agree on how to get there sometimes. So this, like I said, this document, this names quite a few people. This is going to name people that we like. This is going to name people we don't like. It's going to be okay. So I just want you guys to know that. Have I read this yet? I have skimmed most of this. Yeah, Mario, I have. But I did on my phone. So that's why I'm like, I want to give this disclaimer, because, yeah, I'm telling you guys, this is a lot. This is a lot. And this involves people now that are on this side of life and not that. But it's just so crazy. Kaylin! Okay. Okay, you guys ready? Here's the thing. If you don't care about Richard Allen's rights, you don't care about your own rights. And that's my fight in that. I get it, Kathy. Leave Kathy alone. Everybody just leave each other the fuck alone. I think that we'd all be better. Yeah, take a few deep breaths. Have a beer. No, I've never been so happy. Aspen. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I promise. Chloe's mom, what'd you miss? Oh, girl. You missed me needing to get another Dr. Pepper. People can block each other. Absolutely. What is this new document? No, looky here. Love that name. All right. We're going to read it. There's a lot of people in here. Comes now counsel for attorneys Baldwin and Rosie, and notifies the state and the court that in addition to all witnesses, exhibits previously disclosed, he may call the following witnesses and offer the described exhibits. Because remember, we were just talking about He doesn't. He's saying, I have some of this stuff, but I don't have everything yet. So I don't even know if I can. How do I turn it all over when I don't even know what I've got yet, and I don't know what McClelland still has that's attached to this that he omitted, and what now is getting me by the discovery deadline. So, notifies for the attorneys for Baldwin and Rosie, notifies the state and the court that in addition to all the other witnesses and exhibits previously disclosed, they may be including this. Witnesses would be Stephen Wood, Angela Sedlowski, Julie Melvin, Terry Williams, Courtney Parsons, and Matt Hoffman. The exhibits would be communications between Gary. I'm not sure if I was going to say his name right, but we're only going to say it the one time. Then we're going to start calling him. We'll start calling him by who they are. Gary Boudet, aka Fig, aka, and this is Fig Solves, another typo. But I don't want to sit here and I don't want. We're just going to call them by their first names anyway. And Prosecutor McClelland. So communications between Gary and Prosecutor McClelland, multiple. Communications from Gary about Prosecutor McClelland. Anthony Greeno's YouTube episode titled Crime Nation, Delphi Murders, Watch and Review. I think I was watching that one. Rick Snay on True Crime Investigates. Baldwin email to McClelland regarding Professor Turco's report. Gary's communications with Angela. Oh, Gary's communications with Angela. Gary's YouTube episode regarding the Delphi investigation. Gary's communications regarding court staff revelations. Gary's communication regarding the disqualification of defense counsel. Gary is Fig Solves. Yes. Documentation of the relationship between Gary, Fortson, and Cohen. Documentation of the relationship between Gary, Fortson, and Cohen. Gary sending defense work product to McClelland. Hot diggity damn. Gary sending information to McClelland. Gary identifying source in the Delphi. Gary identifying source in Delphi investigation. He identified a source in the Delphi investigation. Wait, what? Wait, what? Does this have to do with what we were just talking about? Gary posting, sending information to McClelland. Gary posting regarding digging dirt on Baldwin. Gary posting working with law enforcement and prosecution. Gary email of McClelland asking Gary to delete everything. Barbara McDonald on court TV with leaked investigative information. McClelland's email to the defense regarding Professor Turco report. A leaked search warrant affidavit prior to unsealing. Ooh. Whose report is that? This is fucking crazy. Sergeant Holman communications with Terry Williams and or quote-unquote secret keeper. This is what I say when I think I know a ton of shit about this case, and then I go, holy fuck, what? Okay, YouTubers Frank Meister and Sleuth's video. Which Frank Meister and Sleuth video? The one, wonder which one that is. YouTube, The Inquisitor, True Crime. This is the irony of all of this right now when it comes to that. This is the channel that made the video about the freaking, source close to the investigation, and that somebody confessed to, or that Richard Allen confessed to somebody in a medical person, claiming leaked communications from Rick Allen. Terry Williams posting about inside information of the crime scene and of the investigation. So Terry Williams is somebody who was on Facebook. And this was a while ago. I think I have this screenshot. If you guys aren't familiar with this, I'm pretty sure I have it. Terry Williams is married to a police officer. I do not remember, and somebody in chat might, is married to a police officer. And at some point had a conversation with somebody that she was driving around with Holman. This was before any arrest, that she was driving around with Jerry Holman, and that in the car, Jerry was giving her information. No, Lindsay, I think she had Jerry in her car. Was it in Jerry's car? No, because she's driving. I'm going to find the screenshot, because she says while she was driving around town, he was looking at her phone. Let me see if I can find it really quick, because I think it's on my phone. I don't think it's on my computer. Okay, hold on. It is. Here it is. There's two screenshots. I gotta find the second part so that you guys know what I'm talking about. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, maybe it's in Messenger. Hold on. I'm not paying attention to chat, so if you guys are talking to me, I'm not seeing it. Just FYI. Let me just send it to myself really quick so I can put it on the screen. Okay. Okay, so well, how would he even? Tammy, that's actually worse. Why would he know to do any of that? By saying that makes things way worse, in my opinion. That's just not, I don't know. Okay, so hold on. Let me grab, I gotta log back into Facebook over here real quick so I can grab it. This is crazy. Okay. So this is Terry Williams information. We'll just touch on this for a hot minute. I'm going to cover that because I didn't block it out. It's a shame so many are at odds over the recent leaker post. At least people are talking, I guess. Perfect time to revisit the OG leaker. This comment was made by a gal who claims to have driven around with Sergeant Holman, during which time they chatted about the case. Says, I gave him my phone while I drove the county roads of Lafayette, showing him the detailed conversation the person messaged me. As he went through my phone, he told me things about the case that were true and not true. He never once said blank, do not share this information. It's confidential. But I will tell you, by the time I returned him to his car, I felt like I had a pretty good grip on the case. And I felt confident in him and his team. My hope by sharing what I know is you will too. All right, let me get you the other one now. He feels it was one person, no drugs involved. There was no sexual penetration, not to say that that wasn't the motivation. When I asked about Eric Alter, he laughed at me. Someone told me Abby was slumped against a tree. Not true. No letters were left behind on or near the girls. No letters. Remember, because back in the day, I've always said, like, I've always heard that there was a letter carved into the tree and a letter carved into one of the girls. The girls were not moved. Possible Odin indication. And he does not feel there is any corruption in Delphi law enforcement. Remember, Jerry Holman is ISP. 10, they do not know who he is. Let me see if I can grab a date on the other one. I'd have to go back and actually look. Congratulating him? Yeah, okay. Yeah, doubtful. But, okay. Okay, so that's who Terry Williams is, just an FYI. So Terry Williams posting about inside information of crime scene and of the investigation. I'm going to go back and look at these videos that they mentioned because I don't remember anything popping out to me at the time about anything on those videos. YouTube, the Inquisitor True Crime claiming leaked communications from Rick Allen. Well, like I said, it's quite interesting now that they were mad that I was trying to say something about that. Now it makes sense why people were so mad at me for saying, hey, it's irresponsible to put this shit out without sources. So it's kind of, I mean, it's all kind of coming full circle because I was like, why are they so mad? Like, I don't even know who these fucking people are. But now I'm like, okay, now I see why you were pissed, because you didn't want me to question that information because it was on purpose. That information was being put out on purpose. And me questioning the source of it, that was going to cause a problem. And then why anybody got mad that I put out Rick Allen's military paperwork? Because I was like, it's actual military documents. Why is anybody mad? Okay, so Terry Williams posting about the inside information of the crime scene and the investigation. October 22nd, 2022 YouTube video of Gary discussing his knowledge of a bullet at the crime scene and knowledge that a gun was found at Rick Allen's house when that information was still under seal and a week before it was unsealed. Okay. There wasn't even an arrest on October 22nd, 2022. So that's why I'm like, I'm going to have to go back and start going through some of these other lives, probably If anybody has time, you should probably go download them because you never know what's going to happen. You know how people be. Discussing his knowledge of a bullet at the crime scene and knowledge that a gun was found at Rick Allen's house, but that information was still under seal and a week before it was unsealed. Tisk tisk. Email exchange between Judge Gohl and Attorney Rosie regarding accidentally misdirected email. Okay. That's got to be the one from Woodhouse. Baldwin emailed to Judge Gohl on 10/9/23. List of media dissemination by state actors. Julie Melvin documents. And a YouTube video titled "A Reckoning in Carroll County." I'm pretty sure that's an is that an unraveling video? I think that's an unraveling video. Holy fuck me, man. This is so much. Officially vindicated. No shit, right? The state actors. Well, I don't know what all of this is, so I want to make that very clear. I'm assuming that media dissemination by state actors. If you remember when Sleuthy was up here with me, we were talking about this whole gag order, and how they were mad that the defense team put out that press release on the December 1st, but there was no actual gag order. And so then we pulled up the one from November 23rd that Nick McClellan put out. I know this. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's R&M. Okay. We're not there yet, KO. We're not there yet. JM might have all that Terry stuff. That's what I'm thinking too, Radar. I don't know. This is a lot. This is a lot. On or about February 29th, 2024 and March 1st, 2024, the defense received an anonymous call from a woman in Texas claiming to have approximately 240 pages of leaked documents and agreed to provide them. The defense has received only a few of those documents, all of which appear to be available to the public. Wait, the defense has received only a few of those documents, all of which appear to be available to the public? Okay, so the ones they've received so far aren't leaked documents. It's actually just the regular old documents. Is that what is that correct? Is that what you guys are getting from this? The defense also discovered information from the prof, claiming that he had delivered 2 pounds of documents to the Indiana Attorney General. The prof did? The defense is continuing to investigate that claim, which may result in additional exhibits. Holy shit. Respectfully submitted, David Hennessy. I don't even... Okay, so do you guys remember when Frank, Art of Deduction, Frank put out the conversation he had with Fig? You guys remember that? I don't know if he still has that up or not. And I don't know if I ever grabbed it. I'll have to ask him. But he talks in there about and getting, I don't want to misquote it, but getting the defense kicked off was like another win. You posted it on Twitter. Okay, hold on, let me go look. Oh, Prof and Fig hate each other. I didn't know that. I know Prof and Snay don't like each other, but I didn't know about Fig. Let's see. So crazy. Nope, that's not that one. I'm looking for it. Do you know how far back you posted it, or do you want to tag me in it, or I don't know. You know me and Twitter. Little Frank has destroyed the prosecution. Well, I don't think it was Little Frank that did. Glad the truth of the leak is going to be in line of sight. The sad part is that they bully Prof and make fun of him. He's a channel. It's called he's a YouTuber. His channel is called The Prof. He's liked by some and not liked by others. I wonder if the YouTubers could be rated. And I mean, and that statement could be said for any of us. He's liked by some and not liked by others, as we all are. It's Frank's birthday. It's little Frank's birthday? Where the hell is he then? Gosh, I need to pay attention. Oh, you have it? Okay. I might have it, but I just remember, and I don't, like I said, I just didn't want, if you guys all remember what I'm talking about, then I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just, I just didn't want to misquote what was said. But it was something like that. Getting him kicked off was another win. And then when, I think he got pretty pissed that Frank posted that conversation. Goal has threatened to jail YouTubers and journalists. I am just kind of floored. Like I said, I'm going to go back and I want to look at some of these videos and see why they're important and what was said. There's obviously no timestamps or anything on here, but the amount of just craziness. The Crime Nation Delphi Murders Watch and Review. I think that's when Rick Snay actually went on his panel. Oh, Yellow Jacket, thank you. I don't think she's putting anybody in jail. Fig was not happy about the text coming out, and Frank didn't post it. Frank posted it. He posted it on his community wall. That's where I saw it. Little Frank posted it. Well, here's the thing. Like somebody said, and I don't know. I have not gone to look at anything, but maybe there are people who are over there that are like, yay, Fig is helping the prosecution. Like, great job. And that's very possible. I just don't understand that. Here's my thing, and it will always be that if you have information that you have gathered because you are on social media or because you're a creator, it makes sense that you take that information and you turn it over. You give it to the proper people. I never will question that. Like, there's always going to be communication from people on social media in true crime cases to the people in law enforcement. If me as a creator has something that is important, it should be given to the right people. That is not what's being really stated here. This is a lot more about information coming from the prosecution to them. So yes, if Fig got information that he thought was important that should be given to law enforcement or should be given to the defense or should be given to the prosecution, then I am in absolute agreement on that being turned over to the right people. And I don't think that we should discourage that. I really don't, because sometimes people will send us stuff, and I've covered other cases where I've gotten info and I'm like, oh shit, now what? Like, sometimes you don't even want it. You get it. there's a big difference though if what's happening here is a collaborative effort between a YouTuber and a prosecutor to put out certain information at certain times. And I've said this before, even about when Barbara McDonald was on, like, if you guys have information that you want the public to have, then just do a fucking press conference, do a press release. If that's what it's coming down to, then do it. And if McClelland, especially McClelland, who literally asks for the gag order, if he's giving any information to anybody, YouTube, not YouTube, that is a major issue. The defense is saying if we are in contempt, so is Nick, apples and oranges. So, Sleuth, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I very first read this today, okay, well, since you're here, Sleuth, do you know, you and Frank have been on quite a few times together, so do you know which episode they're talking about that's important and what they would be even talking about from your channel? And like I said, I know that there's people who like Sleuth, people who don't like Sleuth. I am a Sleuth fan. I always feel very welcomed there. I always feel like I'm not being sold a narrative. So I that is my opinion, and I get you guys have yours, but I'm going to stick with mine on that. So I'm confused on, and I don't feel that way about Frank Meister necessarily either. I know that he's very much pro that Richard Allen is the guy. Okay, so what I was going to say, though, is when this came out, I was like, this is, okay, so if we go back to this one where they're like, hey, there's no rush on this, right? There's no rush on this. Why are we doing this? Like, we can totally put this off, especially now we filed for, we filed for a speedy trial. Let's go focus on that. We don't need to do anything with this, blah, blah, blah. And then it's almost like a, hey, like what Sleuth just said, if you guys want to say, McClelland and Judge Gold, you guys want to say that we're in contempt, let's talk about what you're doing. And this is going to be this is put it on the table and get Nick McClelland to drop the freaking contempt. Drop the contempt hearing. Let's get to trial and move on. Okay, I think it was an episode when me and Frank were talking about the F-Rune way before R.A. was arrested. Oh. I wouldn't even be able to tell you where that originated from, but I was always told that was carved into the tree. That there was a letter was carved into the tree, and a letter was carved onto the girls. One was an F, one was a K. Free speech is a protected right in this country. I think it's more about not letting all the evidence out. And this is what I was talking about, like I said, about Barbara McDonald, when she was on court TV. If she's holding this Odin report, somebody gave it to her. If she talks about the information about the F tree and about the runes and all of that, right? She's talking about having that from law enforcement for a while. Well, if they wanted it out, why didn't they just put it out? Why are we pushing out little bits of information to taint a jury pool? Obviously, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That's what we're doing. And it's like, oh, well, we don't want this out, but we do want this out. And it's like, hey, some type of Barbara McDonald, and I don't just mean her, I just mean in general, if you say these things for us, we'll give you this other information. Who is constrained by the gag order? Well, Angel, that's also a great question, because it's going to be any of the witnesses, the family. Most of the time, it's going to come down to the they put the family in there, but then we know that there are certain family members who actually never received the documentation stating they were under a gag order, just kind of the roundabout, hey, FYI, you're under a gag. Then, so it's right now it's in any witness, so any of the searchers or any of law enforcement, and then anybody from the defense team and the prosecutors, they're all under the gag. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let me see. Hi, Mrs. F. Thank you for joining. I don't understand. Is the defense saying Fig leaked to RF and MC? I think these are all very specific pieces of information. What I think the documentation of this relationship is going to be interesting. And this is my opinion, just based on following the stuff with the leak. I think there's an individual missing in here, that because we know that Fortson and Cohen were in communication. That's already been established. I have not seen anything to show that Fig was in communication with either of these two, but I do know there is a middle person that was in contact with both on the outside. So I think we're missing a person in there, but that's just me. And maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, some of this shit I'm like, holy crap, I didn't know anything about this. Is Librado under a gag order? No. So here's the thing about the gag order. So kind of going back and forth here on these two topics. The defense team, once they were removed in October, the defense team, meaning Baldwin and Rosie, were also not bound under a gag order any longer. So anything from the time they were removed to the time that they were put back on, the gag order was not in effect. Same thing goes for Librado and Scremen. As soon as they were removed, when the others were reinstated, then they're no longer bound by the gag order. But Librado supposedly went and asked, and that was what we were told. Yeah, this is from Hennessy. It's not proven true or false. But, and here's the thing. This is all potential. You guys have to remember. So he says that in addition to all the other witnesses and exhibits we have said we are providing, we may be using these witnesses and offer these other described exhibits. Chloe's mom, yeah, that's where I'm at. If you got it, just put it out. And if you're law enforcement or you're prosecution or if you want it out there, then just put it out there. And I get, like, now that the gag order is back in place, a very different story. But what I'm saying is, even the stuff from before, like with Barb, when she was getting stuff, there's a reason she was getting it. That's crazy. This isn't them muddying it, it's them clearing it up. Yeah, this isn't, where are we muddying? Who's muddying? Okay, don't hate on me, but it's important to remember that this filing is in response to the defense being accused of contempt. Oh, here, them muddying the water to distract from their own actions is a benefit to them. I would agree and disagree on the wording of that, and I think that's where people are going to come in and say the muddying of the water. I think it's a show like, you did this. If you over here, Mr. McClelland, are over here using these YouTubers to put out information and Barb McDonald to put out information, how dare you try to throw us in contempt and either drop it, or this is what we're about to do to you also. And we're going to just, all these cards are going to be on the table. And this is, once again, I'm going to go back to when everybody was reinstated from the Supreme Court. I was just so hopeful. I was like, all right, let's go. Because everybody put on your big girl panties and let's go to court and let's just get it done. But this is more like a tit. I don't even know if that's the right terminology. Tit for tat. No, it's if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander kind of thing. No, I know what you're saying because I know you. So, I mean, I get it. Yes, he has. He has been on. Hi, Skip. There's going to be a hearing to see if they should be held in contempt so they are going to defend themselves. Yeah, he never should have pulled this. It's going to bite him even more before it's over. I agree. I just wish they would have just been like, all right, here we all are. Let's just do it. Murder sheet is not actually mentioned in this. Yeah, leaks for me, but not for thee. It's happened on both sides, and I'm not in disagreement with that. You guys, like, this is what it comes down to, is these people just, they don't like each other. So they're pissed off at the other side, and this is just going to keep going and going and going. And that's why for me yesterday, I was like, freak yeah, let's get to trial. Let's do it. You got the right guy, put it all on the table. Let's see if you got the right guy. Then there's none of this, like, none of us are sitting around here going, holy shit, I wonder if they have this piece of evidence, or how is this piece of evidence going to hold up? We're going to all have the answers. We're going to know. We're going to be like, look at now, we thought this, but this is really what happened. And this is, they had this and we didn't know they had that, or they didn't have this and we were told they had that. Well, Sleuth, that's not what this is saying. This is saying he gave information. That he gave information. And then, and like I said, this is just what's being stated. I don't have any of this as in documentation to back up any of it. This is literally the documentation. But this isn't saying like Fig is giving McClelland info. This is saying McClelland is giving other people, like Fig and other people, info. So if we go back through it, so it's communications between Fig and the prosecutor. That's number one. So it's the two of them talking. Then it's communications from Fig to somebody else, which is where I was thinking maybe the Frank one, but I don't know that for sure. So it's about his conversations with Nick McClelland. So he's telling other people about his conversations with Nick. Nick was receiving messages from YouTubers in the same way he was accusing the defense. It's clear. Well, yes. Yes, absolutely. There's definitely, and that's why I said I'm not going to hold it against anybody that turns in the information that they learn from this process. I get that you have to turn it in. The issue is the information flow the other way. So he says here, so it's now he's telling other people about his communications with McClelland. And then they talk about a couple podcasts, which I said I don't know exactly what part of those podcasts is important. And then this one is communication with another YouTuber, so I don't know what's in that communication that becomes important. Then you have this episode on Fig Solve's channel, and then you have Fig Solve's talking about information regarding the court staff. So he knows something about the court staff. Some revelation about the court staff. Then you have Fig Solve communication regarding the disqualification of the defense counsel, which is where I do believe that is this is my thought, unless you guys know about a document that I don't know about it. I think that this is going to come about from the and getting the defense removed was another win to Little Frank. And then this one I don't know. Like I said, I think they're missing somebody, but fuck, who knows? And sending defense work product to McClelland. So if he's getting access to something that should have been just the defense's, why is he sending it to McClelland and not to the defense? And then him sending information to McClelland, that one's there. Which is fine. Like I said, I get that. I don't know if I'd send it to McClelland myself, but I mean, whatever. Identifying source and now he's okay. So here's the identifying the source in the Delphi investigation. This is what I think is about. This is all my thoughts on this. Like I said, you guys see the same thing I see here. Defense work product. So let's go through an example of what I mean by that. If you have, let's just say you have, we'll do it this way. The Frank's memorandum is a defense. We went, remember we did the live where we went over what is work product and what is actual discovery. And the discovery is what is protected under the gag order. Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rosie's work product is not. A motion is work product. The evidence attached to that motion is evidence and discovery. Two very different things. So if Baldwin, let's just say, Baldwin gives the Franks memo to Westerman, right? Says, hey, here it is, look it over, let me know what you think. And then Westerman, in turn, gives it to Fortson. Fortson gives it to another person, another party, whether it's Mark or another person, because we know he was in communication with at least two. If he gives it to that person, and that person in turn gives it to Fig. Now, is Fig supposed to take the Franks memo and give it to McClelland? Would that be the person he would give it to, knowing it's a defense motion that's been leaked? Who would he give it to? And I think that's what they're kind of talking about here. I feel like AB should be held accountable for the leak with MW. If he hadn't chosen to be so loose with photos discovery, Kyle would still be alive. It would have never gotten to this. And I've said this quite often too. I know that you never really know how somebody ends up at that point in life. You don't. There's just no way to. We know that this was obviously a stressor or a straw, if you will. But there's so many things that envelope a person. It's so hard to ever say this is the why. Because there's just never, having somebody who's committed suicide in my life. I just don't know if there's ever a why. And it was years ago now, and I still would not be able to put a finger on it. Matt says it's likely that MS and Westerman had some form of deal to gain discovery. There are no reasons for Westerman's actions other than being a mole for a couple of snakes. I do think it's possible. I just don't think there's anything to back it up. It's the same as like the whole Baldwin purposely gave the photos to Westerman to leak. I mean, I get the theory. Maybe we'll find out in the contempt hearing, because I think that so much is possible. There's so much shady shit. So much shady shit. I'm trying to catch up on chat. Sorry, guys. Right, Amy, that's where I was going with that too. Sorry, but what info did Nick leak? I think that's the question. That's what they're talking about, and why they may use this information. Because how are there certain things that are being put onto YouTube that nobody on YouTube would know, and if the defense isn't giving it to them, and now this person who's actually using the information is talking about it on YouTube channels, for instance, let me go to this one. I think this would be a very big one, and I don't even know if it's Nick, but let's just, for example, this one right here, number 17, an email where McClelland asked Fig Solves to delete everything. If that's true, that's fucking shady. Why would you delete anything? But I don't, like I said, this is, we're all looking at the same thing here. Where's the other one? Right here, this one. Knowledge of a bullet at a crime scene and knowledge that a gun was found at Rick Allen's house. So I think the whole thing here would be, how did that knowledge come about? Where did that come from? Where is that information being given to YouTubers? That's one. The other one, a leaked search warrant. That's another one. So this is why I think it's all saying we may use this. That you may use this, or they may use this. Not that they are going to. I don't even know from the way this reads. And you guys tell me if you read it differently, but the way this reads to me is they were notified of all of these types of things, and they're asking for an extension so they can go through all of it and see if it's going to be used. But because today is the actual deadline, they had to write this up and say, hey, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. We don't know if we're going to use it because, one, we haven't gone through all of it yet, and two, we don't have the information that has been omitted over here from Nick McClelland. that was supposed to be attached. We don't know what that is yet. So this is like almost like a safeguard. Like, hey, from what we're understanding of the information that is in the process of being given to us, or that we're looking over, or that we didn't have prior, this is what we may be using. When we're just telling you guys because today's the deadline and we don't have a choice but to tell you. None of this may be used. They may not use any of it. Because once everything is done and said and cleared up and they've gone through it, they may go, yes, no, this is important, this is not, this is, this makes sense, this is actually what we thought it was, and then comparing it to what the things are that he's given, or that Nick McClelland gives them that were omitted as the attachments. I just think that, if I'm going to keep continuing to say if, because I believe the way I'm reading this is that the defense isn't even sure that this is important as of yet, but they're saying it very well might be. So I'm going to keep going with the if. If this is true, this is a problem. If this part's true, this is a problem. If there are emails between Fig Solves and Nick McClelland where Nick McClelland says, delete our entire communication, why? If all it is Fig giving him information that he's obtained as being a creator, why would that need to be deleted? That's fucking weird. You see what I'm saying? Like, did it ask you to delete the photos or the emails between the two? I think that's a question probably for somebody in chat that I may have missed. And like I said, this is a message to Nick of, hey, if you're doing this shit and you're out here giving information to YouTubers, whether it be the people named on here or not, and you're getting pissed off at us because we typed in the wrong name on an email or something like that, like, this is the whole, like, hey, back and forth. I'm gonna cop to tell me to delete something off my phone. I don't know. Greeno doesn't know all, and as much as he just doesn't. There's got to be proof of stuff. We can't just go around all willy-nilly. That's what I'm saying. If this is true, Big seems pretty confident nothing will come from this. I sure hope that's not an indicator that she's already in the loop. I believe Aspen, yeah. I do seriously get a kick out of how excited the guilters are over some piss-poor evidence. Thank you, Radar. So my Ariel said something that I wanted to read, and I was finishing reading what I was reading, and then I forgot to go back. Ariel, hold on, let me look. Nikki is scared of their little mistakes getting out. This case will have the world lose any confidence in Indiana. I've consistently had an issue with that. I feel like a lot of the quote unquote cover-ups or corruption, however you want to say it, or what it's. I think a lot of the things that we're being told are to cover for the mistakes that law enforcement has made along the way in order for Nick to be able to get a conviction. I feel like that's where the lies really stem from. I'm not in the belief that law enforcement partook and committed the murders and they're covering for one of their own. I'm not there. Well, trust me, at first I really thought that was Tobe. I mean, that picture looked like Tobe to me. But I don't know. I feel like they're covering for themselves because they can't get a conviction based on all the fuck-ups that they've had over the years. That's where I'm at with it. I could be totally wrong. When I read that part, I understood it as NM telling Fig to delete the work product, not the emails. Oh. Okay. Let me go down here and see again. Let me read it again. Well, the Inquisitor True Crime claiming leaked communications from Rick Allen. I know that's that. I know that's why obviously they were so pissed at my comment, which is just crazy to me. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Number 17. The email of McClellan asking him to delete everything. Okay, so you take it, and that would make more sense of, hey, you have the photos, delete them. Because we did hear from a few people who talked to law enforcement that said they were told, hey, just delete them. Just delete it. Oh, Jennifer, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sharon, do you? I'm telling you, I do. I see him in some of those pictures. No, no, I don't think so. If it's about the photos, it's not nefarious. Exactly. How am I boring you? Love yours. Mario, you're so silly. I don't think it was just delete the photo. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they're gonna have to show that context behind it. But here's the thing: is there a I don't know. Is there an open line of communication where there's information flowing freely from a prosecutor to a YouTuber? To any YouTuber? Take away who the YouTuber is. Is that the case? Is there literally any, if there is communication that a prosecutor is giving information to anybody outside of the gag order, he's fucked. I don't care what YouTuber it is. I don't care which one's listed on here. That's the bottom line. If there is proof that there is a prosecutor or somebody that is in the prosecutor's office or one of the law enforcement agents, if there is proof of that, and that is what's being insinuated in this document, if there is proof of that, he's fucked. Now, does that make Fig fucked? I don't know. He's not under a gag order. So that's kind of the thing. Yeah, we're gonna have to, Jen. That's what I mean. Essentially, that's what we're getting at here, and the fact that the Inquisitor has information that apparently Fig also had. I mean, I'm seeing where this is coming from, but we gotta wait for the fact. Right, exactly. That is my question. Why would he? He better not. And if they have proof of it, then they better bring it. That's all I'm gonna say. He could be acting as a consultant. Well, that's kind of a broad term. He'd have to be brought in then, right? He'd have to be documented. Is that what you mean? But then there would also be an NDA or something along those lines, and then he would be put under the gag order, correct? Which would mean that he couldn't be talking about those things. And when I say Fig, I mean any of these people. It's just Fig that happens to be talked about, but any of them. Otherwise, there is a perception of a prosecutor shill. That's what that becomes. Well, if that's true, then they should be able to get that pretty easy too. I don't call Frank. I like Frank. Yeah, but he owns a firm. He is a consultant. That's what he does for work. So I mean, if he's a consultant, he'd be gagged. Exactly. And then how does the Inquisitor have any idea about communications Rick Allen is having with people inside of the prison? Where's that coming from? And then why am I being told to go look up the June 15th hearing transcripts that have never even been out? You guys are making me vape. Hi, Helen. I am confused. Is this document that you have up from the prosecutor defense or something else? So it gets kind of confusing, Helen. This document is actually from Hennessy, who is the attorney for the attorneys. I know, because it's like there's so many steps removed. So it's Hennessy, who is Baldwin and Rosie's attorney for the hearing on the 18th. Do not be talking to people about being in recovery or anything like that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't talk about people like that. I don't care. They got Westerman's Depot this week. Sleuth, you're funny. On the June 15th hearing, yeah, they're not even out. But that's what I was told. I was told to go read the transcripts from June 15th. And when I was like, they're not even out, like, how am I supposed to read transcripts that don't exist? And then it was like, well, wait till they come out and we'll be proven right. And I'm like, okay, once again, how the fuck does anybody on YouTube know that? How do you know you're going to be proven right by transcripts that don't exist yet? Because if you go to I went to the reporters that were in there. I went back and listened to Bob Mata's podcast he did after that hearing. I was looking at other people's notes, other people who were in the hearing. I was trying to watch anybody and everybody I could that was at that June 15th hearing, and nobody mentions that Rick Allen confessed to anybody in the medical field. And so unless every one of them just didn't talk about it, I don't know. No, I don't agree. I love your music, but I don't agree. I've heard that there is a hacker, but there's the Alex Voorhees went on a couple of channels talking about quote unquote hacking into Keegan Klein stuff, but that he didn't go any further with once he got like passwords and stuff like that he gave it to law enforcement. So I don't know. I don't know enough about that to know how far that really went. I've told you guys that like so much. Once the stuff started really coming out about Keegan Klein, I really just did not. My gut was like, this is kind of a nothing burger. I don't feel like this is going to be overly connected to anything besides, possibly just the Snapchat. But then I was really under the impression that I don't think that Keegan Klein was even talking to the actual Libby. Unsolved crimes uncovered. It's in the house. Sources, yes. But here's the thing, and this is what I was talking about earlier, and I don't know if you were here yet, but if you have somebody who is in the mental health field, because this is the whole thing about this theory about the confession to a medical worker. It's gone two ways. There's a medical worker, and then it was during a mental health evaluation. I am starting to lean towards that it has more to do with the mental health evaluation simply because of the request from the defense. But that is my speculation. But if it is, there's if you're in the medical, so if you go, and I was saying, like, if I go to my doctor and I tell my doctor all my ailments, that is all covered under HIPAA. The doctor can't go and tell anybody all my medical conditions, right? You can't do that because that's covered by HIPAA. But now if I go to my medical doctor and I say, hey, medical doctor, I confessed to killing somebody 2 weeks ago. I did it. Then that medical doctor, that's not covered under HIPAA. So they're allowed and they're mandated to go report that I just admitted that I did that. Right? So that makes sense. But if we're going with the mental health worker, then there's a different criteria. The mental health worker, well, he's not a convicted inmate, Ivy. So what does that mean? Where does that fall? That would be a good one. That would be a good one to look into. So if you're going to the mental health side of things, then if you confess to something, that's still covered and they're not mandated reporters. And I'm doing this very blanketed because obviously there's a lot more layers to this, but I'm just trying to give two main examples. That if I go to my mental health provider, my psychiatrist, my psychologist, my therapist, and I say, hey, doc, I committed this murder, they do not have to go and tell. They don't have to go say anything. Then, but if I say, hey, I'm planning a murder, then they have to tell. So it's just a different layer of protection based upon the type of doctor you're talking about. So even if I develop sources, I get that. I 100% get that. And most of the time it's like, the quote unquote sources become like local people. They're not Nick McClelland for one, but if it's anybody in either of those situations, why would the fudge would they be telling anybody on social media? So that's where I'm at with the whole, you can't, those people should not be sources. Hi, Michelle. Mental health are mandated reporters if it has to do with a child, an elderly person, or a disabled person. In this case, since it was children, they have to tell. I was not under that understanding from what I was researching. Would you be able to send me where that is? Because I've not seen that. From my understanding, it's only if something is in the future. And maybe we can just get somebody on here who is a therapist or a psychologist or a medical doctor or any of those. And though doctor-patient privilege covers all except child abuse or you are thinking about hurting or killing someone, civil or criminal case, forget HIPAA, protect privilege. Consider it privilege and not HIPAA. Okay. Oh, Illinois. That's where I was born. Mario, you play a doctor on TV. It better be a good show. Yeah, I just can't imagine that those people, no matter who they are just giving out info all willy-nilly on social media. So if I'm killed, no one has to tell about me because I'm 38-year-old woman with no disabilities. Damn, that sucks. Yeah, you're just shit out of luck, Christy. Sorry. This is how it goes. I don't know that. I don't know that to be the case. Like I said, I was just trying to give two very broad scenarios. Yeah, I think there's so many. That's what I was like. There's got to be so many layers to this on who and how they have to tell. I just don't. He's not convicted of anything. Where's Travis? Travis, I know I was going to send you a link, and then I went off on all these other tangents, and you probably would have been able to offer some great insights, and now it's like dinner time, and I won't be able to. Maybe you can come on with me, and we can just do like a whole thing together, and you can talk me through a lot. Okay, so on mental health provider privilege, it applies in civil cases. The privilege does not apply in a criminal case. Okay, so I think that we're going to have to dig a lot more into that part of it. Mental health are mandated reporters who must report if steps haven't been taken to correct the situation. But I was under the understanding that if the situation was already done, then you can't. Then it isn't. There isn't anything. You don't report it at all. It's only if you know something is upcoming. He's in custody. Who's he a threat to? The girls he is alleged to harm have already been harmed. Defense is upset they found out who examined RA. The defense hates when their own expert is used against them. RA deserves to have that private. But just like paying for a lawyer, that info can be leaked. I think that's kind of where we're at. But who leaked it? Yeah, he's already been told twice no. Jen, you did? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It's up here. That's so weird. Thank you for being logical and rational. This is my safe, sane place for Delphi. Jen P, I don't even know if it is a sane place for Delphi. I'll be very honest with you, because sometimes I feel like this shit's so fucking crazy, I don't even know what the hell's going on anymore. I want none of this contempt shit to even be happening. I just want him to go to trial and put the shit out there, and let's say either he did it or he didn't. If someone tells me they abused their child last year but don't plan on doing it in the future, I still have to report that. This is a situation might be different, though, due to the murder case. That's what I think. We're going to have to look into more on the legal side of that part, which hopefully Travis obviously knows a ton. Privilege is the Indiana rules of evidence and the federal rules of evidence. So we can go and see exactly what would be told and what could be told as a mandated report type of thing if he confessed. But if he, so here's, and we're going to go back to the side-by-side thing here. If he confessed to a medical worker, let's just say he confessed to a medical worker, whether it be in the medical side or the mental side, no matter what, somebody within that realm, that person, let's just go with the fact that, yes, they're all mandated. They all have to tell because he confessed. They have to tell who? YouTube, social media, or do they have to tell law enforcement? They have to tell the warden. They have to tell these people. Now, just a friendly reminder that unless he confessed before December, what is it? I need to pull up the date. Somebody over here will know the date. It's December 2nd, I want to say, actually. December 2nd was when the gag order went into effect, 2nd or 4th. Unless he confessed to this medical worker before that, then everything that was reported to law enforcement or to Nick McClelland or anybody in the prosecutor's office, it's under a gag order. And then all those people would also be under a gag order because now they're witnesses. So somebody violated a fucking gag order. If you guys are right in the whole, yes, he should have, they should have told, no matter who it was, they should have told. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's not, you can't, yeah, so no matter what, even if you guys are, no matter who's right on the other side, you can't just go reporting it to the Inquisitor on YouTube. You cannot be, you're under a gag order. So sources, I get, I really do understand that. But now, if you're under a gag order, don't be giving me info. Just go away. Just don't come give me shit. I don't want it. Stay away from me with it. And I'm telling you right now, if you're under a gag order and you send me shit, I'm not putting it out there. There's got to, yeah, this whole thing, there's got to be an ethical issue behind all of that. They'd report to the police, the state, and the warden. That's kind of, yeah, I think so. I think the prosecutor was pushed into the arrest of RA, but did not have enough evidence. Now they are paying for it. They were probably hoping by trial they would have more evidence. I agree with you here. I think that it was definitely like it was time to have the arrest. The world needed an arrest in this case. The state of Indiana needed an arrest. The county of Carroll needed an arrest. So maybe it's my terminology, Sleuthy, that's wrong when I keep saying mandated reporting, but it's not. It's not, that would not be the right thing, because like I was saying is like the HIPAA and the privacy, and like Travis is saying, it's more about privilege. So it might just be my terminology that's wrong. That's why I'm like, I'm going to have to do some research on it, because I you guys know I hate giving out a bunch of, like, I don't want to give you guys a bunch of bad info. And if I don't know, let's just research it and we'll find out, or we'll get somebody on here who can tell us. They needed the right arrest. Well, they needed one that would work, in my opinion, but that's my opinion. Past molestation of a child is reportable by a physician. Or future threat of harm to a child or serious bodily injury or death to anyone is a must report. I need an accurate one, not a willy-nilly one. You know, I go all willy-nilly. I sent a link criminally that breaks it down. Okay, let me see. Hold on. I got sent a couple screenshots, so I'm just trying to read through them real quick. Okay. Okay. Did you send it to Facebook? Is that where you sent it? I think this might be it. Do therapists have to report to police? Danger to self, danger to others, abuse of children, dependent or elderly adults, current or future crimes concerning safety of others. Do therapists have to report suicidal thoughts? Is important for safekeeping. Then the safety plan. Okay. They have to report domestic violence. Do I have to report crimes? Okay, let me see this one. A therapist reports crimes depends on the crime. If the crime was committed in the past, is ongoing, or is going to happen in the future. In most cases, confessions of past crimes are held in confidence. This is my understanding too. For instance, if you tell your therapist you stole a TV last year, that information is protected by confidentiality rules. When it comes to present crimes or future crimes, the client reports intending to engage in, the therapist must report if the crime concerns immediate safety. What does a therapist's confidentiality include? Still, in extreme cases, there may be limits of full confidentiality. Some of these cases are left to the therapist's discretion. Therapists are required to keep everything you say in confidence except for the following situations: suicide intent, violence towards others, past, present, or planned child abuse, elderly or dependent adult abuse. The only thing is this, I don't know if this would be considered child abuse. They were deceased. I don't know. Some states have stricter laws to protect your privacy. Those are just general points. Okay, so that's kind of what I was thinking too. Let me go back over here to you guys. What if it's about a future crime, Travis? Does the priest have to tell then? And none of those apply to murder that happened in the past, which is what that's what my general idea was, but that's why I was like, maybe there's something I'm missing. All right, I'm scrolling up to see what I missed. See Indiana Code 25, 33. What'd you say? 33, 11. Nope, 33, 117. Privileged communications. Let's see. A psychologist licensed under this article may not disclose any information acquired from persons with whom the psychologist has dealt in a professional capacity, except under the following circumstances. Trials for homicide, when the disclosure relates directly to the fact or immediate circumstances of said homicide. Okay. With whom the psychologist has dealt in a professional capacity, except under the following circumstances. They may not disclose any information except for trials for homicide, when the disclosure relates directly to the fact or immediate circumstances of said homicide. Proceedings, the purpose of which is to determine mental competency or in which a defense of mental incompetency is raised. Actions, civil or criminal, against a psychologist for malpractice. Okay. Yes, it is, TNT. Yes, it is. So there's privilege, there's confidentiality, and there's mandated reporting. All right. Well, we've been on for 3 hours. I will do some more research on this. If you guys have anything that you want to look at, I want to make sure that I understand it. So that I don't want to give you guys bad info. But what the biggest takeaway I want you guys to have, though, is that document that's filed by the defense is literally stating we may be using this information once we have all of it and are able to go through all of it. It's a fail-safe based on the fact that their deadline for discovery was today. So you may see it, you may not. So just know that. So don't go out. Just wait till we see the info. Wait till we see it. Wait till it's actually concrete that it's there. Yes, I appreciate that, Travis. Okay, Travis is going to help. That's perfect. I'm gonna go. I gotta go get dinner for the kids. They're all staring at me like, "What the heck's going on? We're starving to death." You know, they're teenagers and they can't survive without food. Every 5 seconds of their life. So let me go feed them. I will talk with Travis. We could set up something for tomorrow, and I think that's perfect. We can go over all the statutes and exactly how I'm the one that's intermixing the words. So let's get it correct, and we'll put it out the right way. Go enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate each and every single one of you. And I know that you guys have 1,000 other places that you could spend your time, and you choose to spend your time here with me, even if you don't like each other sometimes. One day, maybe when this trial is done, we're going to sit in a chat, all of us together, and we're going to be one big happy fucking family. You think? That's what we're going to do. I'll bring dinner. How about that? All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.